Hello there, Victor Prospect, and you anarchist artist. I know. I hope you appreciate the shades, not because I think I'm so cool. It's just that it's kind of bright in here. Whenever I do a video, I turn up the lights, and it's pretty sensitive to my aging eyes. Anyway, today we're going to talk about atheism and the burden of proof. You know, recently I debated Bennett Hunter, the Canadian libertarian, on the subject. You can go to his channel and check that out. But I thought I would do a video on my own channel in regards to the subject. Probably do like a 3-series, I think. Today we're going to talk about defining atheism and the issue of the burden of proof. Then in the next video, I will do the concept of God. And then finally, in the third video, I will deal with what is considered to be rather compelling arguments. The first cause argument and the argument from design. But in regards to atheism, I certainly agree with Ayn Rand that definitions are the guardians of rationality. So let us begin this 3-part series with defining the concepts, the crucial concepts here, defining our terms. Critics often accuse atheists of dogmatism for positively denying the existence of God, going so far as to say that atheism is a religion, which is, of course, ridiculous, and that's what we're going to look at in this video, why that's ridiculous. It's a misrepresentation of atheism. That this misrepresentation of atheism is something that really needs to be addressed, I think. And atheism is often approached with fear and mistrust, as if one were about to be exposed to a doctrine that advocates a wide assortment of evils, from nihilism to immorality and communism. Communism, that's always the big one, you know, that's always hurled at the atheist. There's straw man attacks, of course. Now, atheism has become so enshrouded in misconceptions and falsehoods, and that many supposed critiques of atheism are noteworthy for their complete irrelevancy, in fact. Religious critics prefer to attack the unpopular ideas associated with atheism, such as communism, of course, and rather than face the challenge of atheism directly, square on. It's easy to attack communism, but you know, it has nothing to do with atheism. You know, a lot of people that think that they can take a very critical look at communism and decompose it and break it down and just critique the hell of it, congratulate themselves for also sweeping onto the ash heap along with communism, atheism as well. So it really is an error. It is erroneous thinking, that I think. And the same religious critics are also content to identify atheism with specific personalities, let alone specific ideologies. You know, for example, Karl Marx and Nietzsche. Nietzsche was famous for saying God is dead, of course, and by criticizing the view of these individuals, and even the individuals themselves, the religious critic congratulates himself, even there, for having destroyed atheism. He has done no such thing. Now, all the free thought literature on atheism has clearly explained that atheism is simply without theism. Theism being the positive proposition, okay? Atheism as such, non-theism, does not purport any worldview whatsoever, okay? It's, let alone communism. It is a negative, atheism. The A before theism just means the absence of. It means non. So that's one thing to get clear from the gate out. Now, from this perspective, there's the misrepresentation of atheism has spun out of control, and atheism has taken on ominous implications in all spheres. As a matter of fact, it's become contaminated because of this intellectually dishonest approach. So it contaminates a lot of different areas, of course. So people ask questions like, without God, what is left of morality? Without God, what is the point of living? Why shouldn't we just all kill ourselves if there's no God? And if there's no afterlife, who will reward virtue and punish vice? So it's just enshrouded in misnomers and mistakes and erroneous thinking. And from this perspective, there's much more to the issue of God's existence than whether he exists or not. There's a lot hanging on the line. And all of this is false. Let's just put atheism into its proper perspective. Okay, now we are focusing on one question only. The issue of existence. Does God exist? That is what's going to be examined in this series of videos. Okay, not all the supposed detrimental or beneficial effects of atheism, or detrimental beneficial effects of religiosity or Christianity, the social impact and whatnot. Just does God exist or not? That's it. That's what I want to look at. Now, defining atheism, that's the crucial thing here. The word atheist, non-theist, as I got to repeat here, it's a thoroughly honest, unambiguous term. It is clear-cut and simple. Etymologically, as well as philosophically, an atheist is one without a belief in God. That is all the A before theist means. Atheist, non-theist. So the term atheism means without theism. That's it. Just very straightforward. Or one without a belief in God or gods. Atheism is the absence of theistic belief. The absence of theistic belief. That is basically, in a nutshell, the definition. Now, atheism is sometimes defined as the belief that there is no God of any kind, or the claim that a God cannot exist. Now, while these are categories of atheism, they do not exhaust the meaning of atheism. Fundamentally, atheism in its basic form is not a belief, it is the absence of belief. They are descriptive terms. Theism and atheism are descriptive terms. They specify the presence or the absence of a belief in God. If a person is designated as a theist, this tells us that he believes in God, not why he believes in God. If a person is designated as an atheist, this tells us that he does not believe in God. It does not tell us why he does not believe. And this is the crucial point. This is the crucial point in getting to the crux, the nebulous, the core of the definition. There are many reasons why a person may not believe in God. A person may never have come across any of these ideas. So that would mean that if a person hasn't even entertained these ideas or been exposed to them, it's not like a cautious rejection of theism. Such a person couldn't even suspend their judgment because they have no idea of it. So that just indicates, once again, that fits into the proper definition of atheism, non-theism. There are many people who are indifferent to the issue. They don't think about these issues at all. They don't purport or speak out. They're not outspoken on these issues. They're indifferent. A person would also be classified as a non-theist, an atheist, because if they're indifferent, If they don't believe in God, they don't think about it, they're just indifferent to the whole subject of religion, they're a non-theist. They are an atheist. Now, any person who does not believe in God for whatever reason is without theistic belief and therefore qualifies as an atheist. Atheism may be divided into two broad categories in respect to what I've just covered: implicit and explicit. Let's take the implicit atheist first of all. It is the absence of theistic belief without a cautious rejection of it. Implicit atheism. That is a person, there's no cautious rejection of it. For example, to use yet another example, a newborn baby, for example, who has neither the cognitive apparatus to consider the issue in any way. It's not a matter that even the infant is indifferent. It just has, the infant child has no conception of God. So that is one such example. You see, human beings are not born with an innate knowledge of the supernatural. Until such a person is introduced to the idea, he neither denies nor confirms it. One doesn't even suspend their judgment, as I said. So this would also include the child with the conceptual capacity to grasp the issues involved, but who has the capacity, that is, but who is at present, because they're a fucking infant, they're mentally undeveloped, this child is without a belief in God. Atheism means without a belief in God, not why that person is without a belief in God. And of course, now the explicit atheist, of course, the absence of belief is due to a cautious rejection of it. And one's positive worldview, whatever that might be, once that person grows to adulthood or whatever their positive beliefs are in regards to other matters, is distinct from the issue of atheism. A person could be a capitalist. A person could be a communist. A person could be an ethical objectivist. A person could be an ethical subjectivist. A person could be a pessimist in regards to life and the universe. A person could be an optimist, whatever. The only thing that is incompatible with theism is atheism. So that's it. When you're an atheist, or I probably should have said it the other way, the only thing that is incompatible with atheism is theism. Whatever fills that gap is distinct from the subject of atheism. You can put anything in there. You clear the cognitive landscape of theistic supernatural belief, and whatever fills in that gap is up to the individual. And whatever positive philosophy or ideology that fills the gap, so to speak, would be positive propositions, just like theism is a positive proposition. Atheism purports no worldview. So it is commonly believed that atheism involves what is called a world outlook. But to view atheism as a way of life, whether beneficial or harmful, is false and misleading. If one presents a positive belief, an assertion which one claims to be true, one has the obligation to present evidence in its favor. And the burden of proof lies with the person who asserts a proposition. And we can see that Christianity or theism is filled with positive propositions, going from the Garden of Eden, that God whipped up the universe like an omelet and 7 days rested on, or in 6 days rested on the seventh day. They flooded out the earth. It makes all kinds of demands, issued a series of 10 commandments, and it's just filled with positive propositions. And some believers attempt to escape the responsibility of providing evidence by shifting this responsibility onto atheism. You know the classic bullshit line of intellectual dishonesty, of course, is, yeah, you can't prove that God doesn't exist. Like the burden of proof all of a sudden shifts to the person who simply disbelieves everything that's being purported to at him, right? So it's I can concoct the whole Walt Disney metaphysics and make all types of outrageous claims like I'm the reincarnation, I'm the embodiment, the reincarnation of an ancient emperor. You can't prove that I'm not. Like all of a sudden, the burden of proof lies on you to disprove whatever bullshit I can come up with, right? Proof is applicable only to the case of a positive belief. The atheist is not obligated to prove anything. The atheist, qua atheist, does not believe anything requiring demonstration. And also, as a law of logic, you can't prove a negative. Again, the designation of atheist tells us not what he believes to be true, but what he does not believe to be true. If others wish for him to accept the existence of God, it is their responsibility. The person who asserts the supernatural, the person who asserts the existence of God, it's up to them. They face the responsibility to argue for the truth of theism. But the atheist is not similarly required to argue for the truth of atheism, non-theism. All atheists do adopt some positive beliefs, of course, but the concept of atheism does not encompass these beliefs. Once again, an atheist could be a capitalist. An atheist could be a communist, for Christ's sakes. I think that's pretty clear. So atheism, qua atheism, is not a world view. And the practice of linking atheism with a set of beliefs, especially moral and political beliefs, allows the theist to lump atheists together under a common banner. And here we have the ever popular guilt by association. So since a lot of communists are atheistic, argue some theists, there must be some connection between atheism and communism. So the implication here is that communism is somehow a logical outgrowth of atheism. So the atheist is left to defend himself against the charge of latent communism. So really, people can make these kind of intellectual errors or can make errors of this sort in a very innocent way. Other people are just thoroughly intellectually dishonest. But anyway, I think that touches another the subject for now in defining the terms, defining atheism. Before we move on, I wanted to establish that much. So we will, in the next video, talk about the concept of God, and then the final video, the first cause argument and the argument from design. Thank you for listening. Victor Pross signing out.